Okay, the first thing that caught me here is the spelling of news right there. That's kind of cute. Now the premise of the story is it says that the Supreme Court recently ruled 5-4 that voluntary departure deadlines for certain immigrants must extend to the next business day if it falls on weekends or holidays. I actually agree with that. I have my reasons why, because of the fact that, when financial institutions are closed, and transportation places are closed. The weekends still, with a lot of services are shut down on weekends, and so it makes it harder for people on weekends to even do basic business. Because I know growing up back in the 1970s, I know you guys are going to say, here I go again, here she goes again. But everything was closed for the most part. The small town I lived in, nothing was open. Well, there might be a bar open, if a bar existed. Now, that was wishy-washy, because sometimes a bar was open, then it went out of business. Someone else would buy it, start it up. They'd run it for a while, then it went out of business. And so the town just could not sustain a bar. And the truth is, most people in the small town were not going to go to the bar because it was such a gossipy town that they didn't want anybody else in town to know about what they were doing. And so it was just, if they wanted to go to a bar, they would go to a bar to an adjoining town someplace else so that the local townspeople didn't see them. And so, but in here it says the decision applies to the 60-day voluntary departure period set for some immigrants to leave the country. And so, yeah, so I kind of agree with that ruling, giving them some time to get out of the country because the services don't exist related to how they're going to get help. Not only that, these people who are here on the Cash App, because Cash App is supporting migrants, and so a lot of migrants have been using Cash App to come into the United States, which has me wondering about, this says Omega, OMEGA. So they use the copyright symbol there to make Omega, which that is also, Omega is some type of drug supplement. So you got to look for these little nuances within these articles. You find some really interesting little symbols and signs and things. Nothing, I don't think it's anything nefarious, just little symbols and signs throughout the internet of things that are a little bit different. But think of Cash App and the entity who is doing it, but they're blaming the government. They always blame the government for doing what they're doing.